here we have absolutely nothing to say or to show you. We will have already stated why. In the future, I do apologize for that, but Liara is not equipped to make use of this phone just yet. We'll get there, though, when you guys help us get there. Hola all. Welcome back to Soul Mechanics. My beautiful partner is with us, Sweetie Cheeks. For those of you, I have noticed that there are people coming onto the initiative and the Remnants pages saying that they are, there are people coming from the other groups too, particularly the Truth Family crew, saying that they are fans of mine. I'm sorry, but I must say that this channel is belonging to her more so. She's the star of the show. Anyways, there are a lot of sort of announcements that I was hoping to make that I had in mind, and I had kind of plotted all of this out as I came back here from work, but I don't remember now. I fell asleep. I had a string of dreams. What I do know is that there are layers of values and sort of sub-personalities that I've managed to incorporate. Oh, one announcement that I should go ahead and make. I didn't do it in the same way, through the same methods, and I had gone ahead and declared to you guys that we were going to have to put the experimental phases on hold due to the new job scenario. However, I would like to declare that I have renounced that declaration and gone ahead and kind of compressed the experimental phases using other methods into a smaller phase that still kind of fucked me over at work for a minute. I had a really bad day there in front of a beautiful girl who was new on the team. Never mind, not this story, but I have managed to have a great degree of success in that area and actually incorporate some of these, what I think of as being shards of the personality, and we made some serious progress in that regard, which I'm going to put to use here. Instead of talking about it, I'm just going to show you. And what we're going to do with this video, I told you guys that we're going to have a lighthearted, comical, humorous, and more instructive video, which we are going to do, but we're also going to launch what I do believe might wind up being one of our coolest investigations that we could ever possibly have done. So this is going to be a part of the Deeper Than You Think series. This is going to be investigating what I think we're going to call channeling. And we're going to begin with the investigation I spoke to earlier about the commentary sections, YouTube versus Facebook, particularly at the moment. We'll get in.
What do you mean by channeling? Because that kind of has like a whole other.
I'm gonna show you. You're gonna see. This is gonna go deeper than you think.
Oh.
But we are going to begin by giving honorable mentions to someone whom I believe you will have just seen him. I'm gonna put a clip of him in the opening piece. I think, maybe, probably not. I can't do that. Never mind. You're gonna see him here. I can't do that because your phone fucking... You guys might have seen in one of the last videos we did, the fuck up video, where I sent her a clip from my phone of what I wanted to add, and it was pretty much me speaking in chipmunk voice because her phone does that. I don't know why.
Whoops.
But, yep. Sorry. I mean, it was funny though, and we did get a pretty good response from that, regardless of how bad we screwed it up. We did not intend to do that, I assure you. But... So, an honorable mention to this dude, Scott Cramer. He has 256,000 subscribers, yet refers to himself and his audience as strugglers. Sir, I must say, you are a whiny bitch. However, you are, in fact, one of the only, perhaps the only YouTuber I've managed to come across in my great spanning career of YouTube, a year and a half or so, that I have no problems with whatsoever. Like, no complaints about this guy. He is fantastic. He's awesome.
He looks familiar.
He does look familiar. And he has done, I don't know if he still does, but he's done promotional videos helping smaller YouTube channels, learn how to grow and stuff. Maybe not instructions, but basically inspirations, motivations. And I heavily appreciate that, sir. You're an awesome dude. You're fucking funny as shit. And I think that you should really dive deeper into the Batman thing. He does shows about the Adam West Batman show.
Oh, cool.
He thinks that Robin is the villain. That's his theory he's presented. Is Robin the villain?
That's funny.
I love it. That's good shit. You should actually do the whole first season, I think. That's my recommendation.
Yeah.
I will follow the fuck out of that, and I will send people your way.
I've only watched a couple of his videos, but he is pretty funny. He had me chuckling.
Yeah, well, she didn't like him because he was making fun of Ellen.
Well, I didn't say I didn't like him.
I think Ellen's...
a joke is a joke is a joke is a joke is a joke.
Right, but Ellen's a joke.
Okay, it's still a fucking joke, dude.
I'm not against Ellen DeGeneres. I don't like her so much personally. Not personally as a person. Personally, I'm not a fan, is what I'm saying.
As a comedian.
Yeah, she's not great in my opinion.
She's a great comedian.
She's cool. She
and
does some pretty
funny.
cool shit. People think she's a shill, but then I've actually
Whatever. She probably is. She's like a millionaire. Go be a shill. Fucking congratulations. I wish I was.
I've had people in the comments though on other channels tell me that this was via Twitter where I showed somebody our video about Joe Rogan's podcast. She said her initial response without even watching it, Joe Rogan's a right-wing shill.
No, I like the one where he makes fun of flat earthers sometimes, and so somebody sent him these t-shirts that says round earth shill. I want one of those. That is funny. You're just a shill for the round earthers. That cracks me up.
A special shout out I'd like to give to Alice7 is the screen name on Discord. Alice7, ALESS7, one word. Whomever she is, she's a fan of ours. Lady, keep kicking ass. You're awesome. Help us promote the shit. Share it. Comment. I've already instructed you. Just follow my directions, please. So, that's all you guys gotta do.
Somebody's like, "Hey, I like your videos," and you're like telling them what to do.
Yeah, that's my role. I am the director. So go ahead and follow my directions, and we will kick ass together. I promise. I know what I'm doing. I need you guys to back me the fuck up. We do have other people backing us up now, loyal fan base for the most part, few people, handful of good loyal people, so we are well on our way. We're getting there. Anyways, to introduce, Scott Cramer began this investigation into the commentary sections regarding YouTube versus Facebook. Let's take a look at what he has to say.
The two.
Well, but firstly, I have a fake pocket. This is a fake pocket.
It might be a lady jacket.
I should like to ask anybody who might be, engaged in some way with the clothing industry, why the fuck would you...
It's okay.
You can just make an ordinary pocket. I understand there's an aesthetic value to the pocket, but it's not a pocket if it's not a pocket.
Fucking pocket posers, dude. Look at all my pockets. Oh, I don't really have them.
I mean, I'm going to go ahead and suggest that perhaps we don't just
it's a fake pocket.
Make fake. Everything needs to be fake and faker and faker and faker, and that touches down on the topic of this investigation.
Oh, that's funny.
Layers and layers and layers to the reality that we experience.
No, I think that's a thing that sometimes happens with ladies' clothing is they'll do fake pockets on. Usually it's pants because they're so tight that you can't actually fit the amount of fabric for a pocket, but you still want to look like you have a butt pocket. They do that all the time.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and say that I've got ladies' pants on right now. They're very tight, and I still have pockets. And they work.
You look like Hillary Clinton.
I just tell me you don't want to touch my ass. Go ahead and lie to my face. Tell me you don't want to grab my fucking perfect ass.
Everyone wants to touch your booty.
Well, I know you do, at least. Alright, let's take a look at what Scott Cramer, badass YouTuber, awesome, wonderful, positive motherfucker, has to say about YouTube versus Facebook commentaries.
Go, Scott.
The first one I want to look at is of a little boy trying soda for the first time. I'll show you some clips of that so you can kind of get the idea of what the video is about.
I know you haven't ever drank soda before.
It has sugar.
You're right, it has sugar.
This kid is so cute.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Is it in there?
Eat sugar.
Well, your mom's not in here, so...
Does it taste like bubbly water?
That right there. The way he asked that, That's such an easy tell.
Does it
He's
taste like
he's
bubbly
snuck the
water?
soda before, the little fucker. He's
No,
putting up a show.
duh.
Alright.
Eat this. I like it.
You like it? Are you gonna have another sip? You know, that's a gateway drug.
I like it.
Okay.
Hulking out.
What does your dad do? Pretty cute, pretty fun video. You know, nothing really wrong with it that I can see. Let's see what people had to say about it. This was super cute. What an adorable little boy with a fun imagination. But seriously, 48 grams of sugar and 1 bottle of soda? Insane. Yeah, don't eat sugar. You'll end up fat like the mother. Like she isn't sneaking in sugar drinks when she's out. He just got drunk on soda. My problem with this video is not the soda. It's the lying to mom. Who the hell teaches their child this? Okay, so it's on video and mom will probably see it, but I would have still been pissed if my husband did this. Father and son sharing a beer. I mean soda. This was so cute, especially when his mom came in. Well, he's right about one thing. Sugar is a gateway drug to diabetes, inflammation, obesity, and other illnesses. The effect on the brain are definitely like cocaine. Okay, dude, chill out. Ooh, okay, this next video is of a baseball player who, it looks like he broke his arm, and he's in the hospital, and they gave him some pain medication.
That sounds good.
And he's talking silly.
Yeah! I feel amazing! Everything's spinning right now. Okay? I can't wait till I go home and I smoke some perk.
Yeah, what you been smoking? What are you talking about?
No. No, don't answer that question.
Feel like a rapper. Yo, 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 big toe.
It's some good, clean family fun. I don't really see any problems with it, but once again, I'm sure plenty of people have seen plenty of problems with it. So let's see what people had to say about that one. Bro, this happened to me when I broke my arm, and they had this thing on my finger, and it had a red light on it, and I started crying because I thought my finger was on fire. Way to exploit you, teen. This is not funny. He is a risk taker. Better keep your eyes open. He's in the risk pool. Dad telling him not to answer when his mom asks what he's been smoking.
I have
Real
a problem with
MVP.
that
A
one.
parent's
Real MVP.
nightmare. Remove this from Facebook. He may be having a bad reaction to the anesthesia. This should not be a reflection of his clearly refined upbringing. You know.
You have a problem with
So I think it's cool. I think we should. It might be kind of hard to see. I think we should explain. He's got like the red T-shirt and the blue T-shirt and a split screen, and he's reading
Yeah. Well,
the
it's
Facebook comments versus Instagram comments, and all the Facebook ones are usually really negative, and people are mean and pissed off. But the people,
No.
somebody commenting that mom and dad, and how do you know it's his mom and dad that are there filming? Like, does that ever even? I love how people just assume shit on fucking videos.
Okay, firstly, sorry, Scott, that you're faceless in this video. I mean, we do not have any better technology to make use of. He, however, is not using split screen because he has excellent technology, apparently. He's able to edit himself into the fucking video and talk to himself.
Oh,
It's
all
really
right,
cool.
Well, whatevs, but
We're
yeah,
going to
that's-
send people your way, Scott. People, check out Scott Cramer's channel. It's great.
The gist of it is he's personifying
Yeah,
each.
blue and red.
Yeah, each.
Blue's Facebook? Yeah, blue's
yeah,
Facebook,
blue's
red is
Facebook,
YouTube.
red's what, YouTube.
Oh, duh. Blue is Facebook.
You have some talents when you can rap even when you're drugged up. You shouldn't have filmed him and put it on Facebook. Doctors are helping him take away the pain. Easy to judge until you know all the facts. First, he's a kid. Shouldn't put him on film. Protect our children. Wasted life. Not funny. Poor prognosis at this time. Hopefully rehabilitation may occur. A long, slow road at best. Good luck, Dylan.
Wasted
Wow.
life.
Okay. And this last one, I just know this one's going to have problems. Chris Pratt was given the Generation Award at, I think, MTV Movie Awards or something like that. And he gave an
This one's
acceptance speech for
important.
it.
Pay
That's what I call
attention.
9 rules from Chris Pratt, Generation Award winner. Number 1, breathe. Number 3, don't be a turd. Strength and intelligence can be weapons, and do not wield them against the weak. That makes you a bully. Be bigger than that. Number 6, God is real. God loves you. God wants the best for you. Believe that. Number 7, if you have to poop at a party, sit down. God bless you. Please get home safely. Thank you.
I'm sure people will be civil about it. I mean, let's check the comments. I just love Chris Pratt. The most humble and down-to-earth celeb we love. I'm so proud of him. The simple truths that he about life is so encouraging and so refreshing and so true. Well spoken and well deserved. Straight up ruined it as soon as he started talking about God. Chris is like the world's big brother. I love him. And this speech. Lost respect when he mentioned God. I accept the responsibility as your elder. LMAO. Chris is so hilarious. Stopped watching as soon as I heard the God preach. And suddenly Chris Pratt ain't all that cool. Next. Hey, why are you like this? Okay, so what did we learn from all?
What did we learn from all this? Personally, I have just fucking spotted endless tunnels, rabbit holes here. Nearly, but I mean, he's gonna give his conclusion.
Well, it's one of those trigger words, man. When people start talking about God.
Yeah, and I guess from what you said, Chris Pratt is
he's kind of Jesus-y, or religious or whatever. But whatever, dude.
Yeah. So I mean, again, as usual, to speak to the obvious inferences. It's going to be not necessarily the God concept in and of itself, but the wrapping, the packaging of religion that damages the concept and corrupts it. So we do have that corruption from religion in play. I'm going to say, religion obviously is something that I'm standing firmly against, have been forever and ever, but God, I mean, I think for all intents and purposes, Chris Pratt is telling us the truth about the matter that is reasonable and usable, functional.
No matter what you believe, this dude is, as anyone can see that watches any of his crap, is like a nice dude, right? He's funny. He wasn't meaning to like harm anybody or make fun of anything or
push any
kind of weird.
As Demi would say,
thing.
He's pushing his beliefs.
Yeah, push your beliefs. No, he was just saying that's how he feels, and he's throwing it out there. And I don't see what the big deal is about that.
No, and I'm not gonna.
Satan loves you,
right?
And he believes in you.
But I mean, what I want to say about this is that just to open us up, we're not going to dig into these layers, but there are layers and layers of this reality happening, existing, much like a dream sequence. When I fell asleep earlier, our dear beloved brother had brought us some. What was it?
Like spinach and cheese,
spinach artichoke
thingies.
Breadsticks that were fucking fantastic.
Can't
Chris,
believe
if
he
you
made
watch
those.
this, you need to bring us more of those.
They were yummy. He took like the pizza dough and like twisted it up with
Yeah,
all
it
the
was
stuff
like
inside.
it turned into like a spinach artichoke cheesy croissant stick.
So good.
Oh my god, it was fantabulous.
It was still warm too.
Yeah. And I ate a few bites of it, and as anybody who knows me would know, my brain is programmed to go to sleep, to shut down immediately after I eat.
Of all the things, you're not supposed to eat.
Yeah.
When you come here, especially bread and cheese.
They try to make me eat at work all the time. They're like, eat this, because I'm skinny. They're like, eat this. And I try not to. I mean, but I love the food. I love like hospital food.
What?
It's so good. It's just perfect.
Weird.
I love hospital
like
food.
Like cafeteria food?
Yeah, it's excellent. I'm addicted to it, honestly. But I have a big plate that I brought home of their fish sticks that I make wraps out of back at my mom's place. I love them.
Hospital fish sticks.
God, I hope I didn't eat all of those. I don't remember now. Anyways, I fell asleep for a moment. I had a string of dreams while Cheeks was having a conversation with Chris in the kitchen. Of course, I can hear what they're saying. Like, when I fall asleep, I can still hear what's going on around me, and it's playing in the dream. But it's not like I hear it while I'm moving around in the dream. It's like there is a layer to the dream where I'm listening to them. I hear what they're saying, and I can, for all intents and purposes, respond if I choose to. I can wake myself out of the dream and respond to what they're saying, and that layer is functioning just as like an audio recording device in a manner of speaking. At the same time, there's a layer to the dream where I'm in the dream and I'm dreaming, and I'm actually like playing the role of the character that is in the dream, playing the role of the other characters that are in the dream. Then there's a layer to the dream where I'm lucid. I know that I'm dreaming, and I can choose to respond to what's happening in the dream, which chooses to respond to the speaking. Then there's a layer of the dream where I can actually see. I had a fever dream the other night. What I think of as being a fever dream. People have many different considerations as to what fever dream actually means, but everybody's experienced it at some point or another. My my determination of a fever dream is when for the most part, it's going to be when you have a dream that's like really wacky and out there and doesn't really fit and is kind of clustered and a clusterfuck of chaos. But when you wake out of it, you're like stuck half in the dream and you don't know, like you can't really wake out immediately, and even though you're awake in your bed or wherever, you still think that it's really happening. And in this one dream, I had somebody from the job that I'm doing now, one of my supervisors, send me to another store. They said, you have to cover this other person's shift. And I woke out of the dream because I panicked, because I was like, I'm late. I'm thinking there's a layer of the dream wherein I know that I'm sleeping at home. I only had enough time to like sleep for like an hour, and so there's a layer that's like, I'm taking too long, I need to get up, and I think that I'm late. So I panic when they send me to the other shift. I wake out of it, and as I sat up in the bed, like in the time that I was laying down and I sat up, in that time of sitting up, I watched as my brain constructed from scratch an entire history for me having done cross training for the other job, and the reasons why, because the owner of the store and the supervisor had known each other, were friends, and had this arrangement going where people could come from one job to the other if they needed. And so the entire backstory constructed itself value for value from scratch as I sat up, and I watched it happen like a computer program. And by the time I sat up in the bed, I had this entire past, like years, built up leading up to that point. And I still thought that I was in the dream for a moment. I looked around in the room and I thought the dressers were the shelves in the store, and that the clutter that I have around the clothing and shit was the broken products that I had to like clean up or whatever. So it was just a very odd experience. I never had one quite like that before, but it was elucidating in the sense that I could actually, like, I can't explain it now as yet. I'll get there. I'm going to keep practicing with this. To add for context, people who've been following the channel would know, so I don't have to explain it to you, but for people who are newer to the channel, my training initially was with DreamWorks. So that's where I began. That was the first thing I did, and I was very proficient at just generally dreaming, controlling my dreams, lucid dreams, what people call like astral traveling and stuff like that. So that's how it began, and that's what I become most proficient at, and that's what I'd like to consider to some extent as being sort of a psychological aspect. Me being a blue, I'm looking at the mentality of things, the psychology of things. That's my primary interest, intellectual pursuits. But honestly, I think the dreaming is more really could be considered kind of like a spiritual aspect.
Yeah, I think I like the theory that it's a way for you to kind of adapt to things, and maybe even to some extent, obviously not with like bad dreams or nightmares, but to some extent kind of adapt a way of thinking maybe, or adapt to a situation developing, and even in some senses rest a little bit. Like you're getting used to something that maybe might be shocking to you or new, or whatever, and then allowing your brain to kind of take something and adapt it into your worldview, but then also that gives you a sense of comfort in your day-to-day life so that you can have a more restful thinking process and not, freak out or panic or whatever. I like that.
A reprieve. And you know what?
Yeah.
I think like incorporating the values that you've assimilated, I always thought that, because I got to the point now where, as I've stated to people before, I don't sleep anymore. When my body goes to sleep, I pop right into the dream. There's no blank spot. I know that I'm dreaming on some level. It's like I never actually go to sleep. And I thought that was like advancing in my personal development. But at the same time, you can look at it from a different angle and think, well, I'm not really getting the rest that I need, so it's not necessarily an advancement. It's like if you're playing life like a game, which is the general theme of what Soul Mechanics is intending to present, playing, you know, learning to play life like a game, the mechanics of the game as it's playing. But, you know, it's going to be a sense of where you place your statistical values, like the points, your skill points can be placed in the intellectual aspect, wherein you are aware all the time, but you're not getting the rest that you need, placing your skill points in the spiritual aspect.
Instead of the,
you know,
yeah, you have the 3 meters at the top of
right.
the screen, and those old, like, you know, 24-bit games where it's like,
yeah,
your magic is green, and your, what's the other one? It's not like endurance is another one, I think. Endurance, and then your
stamina,
like life force, stamina. Boom, that's funny. But your body is still kind of like getting some amount of rest. Maybe not your like brain.
It should be, but that's just the thing, is that it's going to be more from my experience at least. But this could very well be because I placed my skill points in the intellectual facet. That, from my perspective, it's going to be the psyche that creates the body, that constructs the body, and so the body is responding to the psyche primarily. In what case the body's not really getting the rest, from my character, is not getting the body is responding directly to what the psyche presents, thereby it's going to be really my decision that discerns whether or not my body's getting enough rest.
Yeah,
of course,
well,
I have an enormous metabolism.
Yeah, but it makes sense though, because over the years, I mean, no offense, but your body is a piece of shit. Like, it's, you know, there's always some kind of thing, right?
I mean,
issues,
yeah, no, it kept breaking down because the chakras were failing one after another, and.
But even just earlier, you know, you did something to your shoulder.
Well, no, the shoulder is an actual problem. I don't know how that happened, but something's actually busted in there. For all intents and purposes, something must be broken in some way or another. That's just like an actual injury, but with the pieces of my body failing one after another, that was resulting from the process I set forth, and they've healed themselves and now become stronger than ever. Like, I mean, you can fucking hit me with a truck if you want, you're not gonna stop me. So my body's not necessarily a piece of shit, but it has some maintenance issues. It has had maintenance issues throughout the past, severe maintenance issues, but the shoulder thing, that's a problem. That's a real problem.
Just
that's
as an
developing.
example.
But, thank you, though. Your body is beautiful and wonderful. I love it. I very much love it.
It's awesome.
Seriously, her body's bitching. Anyways, so we're going to begin this investigation by going into this ourselves, digging into this, and I should like to note that we need help with this. We're going to need help with this. Firstly, we're going to need a bigger audience. People, you got to share the videos too. Specifically,
do you mean the comparison between the types of things that are being, the types of engagement on the two different platforms, you know, comparatively YouTube and Facebook?
Yes.
Because I think he absolutely has a point, and maybe he stumbled across something here, but as far as I know, and I could be wrong about this, I suppose, but the algorithm, at least for Facebook, kind of rewards, obviously it rewards engagement, like any social media application would, but on Facebook specifically, the engagement is usually of a negative connotation, because you don't really, and I think that's just maybe a human thing, and you're not going to engage in something that you like. You might hit the like button, but you're not going to be leaving comments, and I mean, sometimes I guess, but the engagement is usually revolving around a negative connotation, and so it rewards that by showing you things that piss you off the more that you engage things that piss you off. I don't know if YouTube has something like that going on, but
likely. To make note, for any operative spotters in play. Oh, spotters, duh. That's our people. Like he says, strugglers. Remember you said suckers. You're thinking of what we're going to call our audience.
Yeah.
You're spotters, every one of you. Now, for operative spotters in play who are actually making use of the skill set that we're providing, if you're actually watching and paying attention to the videos, you might, and the world around you as well, you might notice that the dream presents cues, it presents prompts, it presents representations of the values in play, such as one that I will have just shown you a moment ago. as regards, spirituality versus mentality, which is getting down to the nitty gritty on what this comment section is actually presenting and where we're going with this, because I'm already like light years ahead here, and I'm going to tell you that this is leading to what may very well be the key to the entirety of our controversy, or our conflict here, what we're trying to accomplish, the cooperation over competition paradigm. We can in fact accomplish that through this investigation. We need your help. Firstly, we're going to need a greater span, a larger audience, because what we're going to have to do is place videos that we've made on YouTube and on Facebook and see the reactions to either one of them. Now, I have just amassed the most outstandingly enormous audience on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
On YouTube, we only have 138 subscribers right now.
Yeah,
that's not going to work.
Two things don't really overlap that much, but it's still, I think we could still run a kind of experiment
we can work with it, but it's not going to work out so well. What it is going to do is, provide the incentive for our audience to get active and start helping us out here. Let's do this investigation together, guys. Scott Cramer, specifically, of course, he's going to get this video. And should you be watching, sir, we want your help here. We're asking,
I don't know how
requesting
old
your help.
this is when he posted it, but I think he's kind of onto something.
Yes, it matters now. Your investigation is going to lead to something outstanding. We need your help with it, though. So
I think most importantly is to comment on stuff,
yes.
Whatever, even if it's negative or positive,
Obviously.
or it's just a thought or a question or whatever the hell, throw it out there. I mean, fuck it.
Perfect spot. Point A on the experiment. Anybody who's watching, comment. Whatever you like, whatever comes to mind, just comment. And I promise you, the next video we make, I will show you how that comment applies to every fucking little thing else that happens. Every last little thing will network and be associated. And we're going to show you how this whole, the spotting process operates in this sense. We're going to give you this ability to read the dream as it's happening. Of course, as I just stated, that may or may not be a boon to your performance. We have yet to see precisely how that's going to work out, but it's circumstantial. Obviously, it's on an individual basis. It's personal development, is what it means. So,
I wonder what kind of comments this video specifically got.
Yeah, let's look at your comments, Kramer. Mr. Scott Cramer. So, you said that Chris Pratt had married...
Yeah, I think recently Chris Pratt married, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter or niece
Arnold
or something.
Schwarzenegger's and my daughter.
I think that's his father-in-law now, which is bitchin', dude. That's so cool.
I paid for the Hooked app and immediately regretted it. Well, take a look at that.
That is.
There's an honorable mention in that one for anybody that's paying attention. Go ahead and look into that. You'll find another person that we are fans of. So, pinned by Scott Cramer, Camille Violet, 1 year ago. I have a couple of theories on this. Firstly, it's that on YouTube, even with clickbait titles, etc., you still decide for the most part to watch a video and are aware of what you are about to see. If you're not a fan of Chris Pratt, of him, but on Facebook, you're just confronted by videos as you scroll down, many of which aren't related to your interests. They're just whatever people on your friends list have been active on. So, as someone who happens to have a very strong feelings about religion, ends up watching the video and feels compelled to make it about that. I've noticed that people generally tend to only feel the need to comment on things they've just discovered if they have a point to make, especially a critical one. So, if someone just watches the video and thinks to themselves, "Heh, funny guy," they're much less likely to be bothered to comment on it.
Yes, exactly. The engagement revolves around more negative things.
Right. Secondly, the whole thing of older people on Facebook.
We didn't see.
Yeah, he
that part of the video.
He says in his video that he thinks it's the older people who are making the more critical commentaries, and He also states
No,
that
specifically on Facebook, he thinks that there's a younger audience for the YouTube.
right, YouTube he thinks
and
is a younger audience.
But as soon as he said that earlier when we watched some of it, I don't know if that's necessarily true.
But it may or may not be true. It's going to be a part of the investigation, and for anybody who's been keeping up, you might notice there's a bit of foreshadowing for that, isn't there? Wherein I stated that I had one video I said, YouTubers, you're all kind of young, aren't you? I had taken notice of that, and then immediately thereafter we run into this. You see how there is in fact a story playing out here behind the scenes. If you got to be paying attention is all. So, he states that he thinks that it's the older people, and that it's ironic because it was the older people who were telling the younger people, be careful what you post because it's going to be there forever. Yet then it's the older people posting these critical asshole sorts of commentaries.
Freaking out.
Yeah, and it's likely because of that. So, I mean, to touch down on that one, to give the gist on that, the values in play, the older people had told the younger people to be careful what they post as a critical commentary. Not because they were concerned about them, but because they are critical people and they just want to be critical whatever chance they get. It's just an addiction. It's a bad habit, is all.
That's the longest comment I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's even longer than ones I make.
Wow.
People complain about the length of my comments. Shit,
Yeah, no
man.
shit.
Camille Violet, you've outdone me. Well done, madam. Anyways, think of older people on Facebook who have a tendency to think that everything is personally aimed at them and therefore requires direct input. That was well said. I know of so many old people who think that Facebook equals the entire internet, a place they have a page their friends and family send things to. If 70-year-old Aunt Phyllis sees a video of a kid drinking soda and she's raised to think that sugar is the root of all evil, in her mind it's a personal affront to see that, and she must warn and chastise the parents for committing the crime and make sure all her friends know what she thinks in case someone sees the video on her page and, God forbid, thinks she is endorsing it.
Right. That makes sense. You have you feel personally responsible for things that are on your page because it is called your page.
Yeah.
When really the entirety of the internet is, so vast that you can't
Right,
really lay claim
even
to things that are even yours.
Like I had
in a way.
stated that of my my vast inspection of YouTube and my career here on the YouTube arena. Scott Cramer is in fact probably the only channel operator, the channel host that I've come across who I seriously have absolutely no problems with whatsoever. He is a little whiny, but I appreciate it. But yeah, I know, I've seen the videos that speak to this. I know the depths of even YouTube itself go farther than I think I could possibly imagine at this point. I mean, the internet is crazy big. Like, there's shit that I don't think nobody's explored all of it. I don't think it's even a potentiality. Anyways, she says, of course, ironically, commenting will do exactly that by sharing it to others, endorsing. See earlier commentary. Oh, and also there's a third, probably more likely explanation that more people are on Facebook and most people are assholes. So statistically, that's just what's going to show up.
Law of averages.
If anyone reads this comment, thank you for attending my TED Talk.
That's funny.
Alright, yes, I am procrastinating a university essay, but it's okay. It's in a field that means I'll never get a real job anyway. Madam, you have a real job here. You are providing a dedicated service. Don't ever let anybody tell you that if you're not being paid to provide a service that it's not legitimate. It's going to be the services that you are inclined to provide without payment that are most valuable for anybody watching. That to be of service to others, there's no higher calling.
That's great. Yeah, that's a good one. She might be right. Just might be a numbers game. There's just more people on Facebook, and people are mostly dicks.
Oh man, I wonder if this is fake or not. This could be like a trick comment. Wow, Scott, I stopped watching as soon as you made it seem like Facebook was an old person shithole. this video is garbage. Take it down immediately.
Whoa.
Oh wait, this is YouTube. I mean, haha, cool video, Scott. Really like the split screen thing. Dope. Yeah.
Take it down immediately.
That's perfect.
See, that's part of the problem though, is that it was when you read that, I immediately just assumed it was real because people actually write shit like that. Like, he was just joking around, but people actually will say, take this down immediately, and they're all angry, and they're freaking out, exclamation marks and things in all caps and all that, just over a damn video that you saw. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's reality now.
There is an extreme irony in that, too, because it's going to be, the values in play here are going to be, rather the aspects, the implications attached are going to be that people on Facebook seem to be more demanding, as though whatever's happening, like just like that comment from Camille just said, that they do personally attach themselves to the content as though it belongs to them directly, whereas YouTube actually does belong to you. Like, you make your channel, you present yourself, it's your expression, yet you're less, it's like, again, like a dream state, like you're capable of it, in some sense, detaching yourself from the quote-unquote reality of the scenario, you know, which this can touch down on the very meaning of reality itself. You know, reality is going to be essentially the investment portion of your experience, the part wherein you're actually meeting with critical decisions and the consequences thereof, you know. Whilst the dream state is detached, and when you're in a dream, you can just kind of float through it, and you don't have to care so much about what's happening, especially if you know that you're dreaming.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, having explored, you know, the very deepest depths of the dream world, as it were, that it's very real. There is no difference between here and there. There is no here and there. They're just varying levels of the same thing. So I mean, that's a context we're going to look at this in, as regards the dream state and the layering of the dream state. But what we're going to try and do is, firstly, hand me that little bottle over there is what we're going to do. Thank you. And second, we're going to try and incorporate these values and consolidate the levels of our reality. And over the course of doing so, we are in fact going to assimilate, incorporate, and exact this cooperation over competition paradigm by using our special silver bullet, which is to promote the competition to be more cooperative. Keep that in mind, spotters. We are competing to see who can be the most cooperative, and of course we've already given you instructions as to how you can assist us in this endeavor.
This is interesting. Another guy. When I'm on Facebook, I actually almost always have a deep urge to write a mean-ass comment under the video. Oh man. I'm sure it's just kind of meant to be funny, but like, maybe that's real.
It probably is real, and the reason being because there are prompts in play. There are cues, presented through these, and the people who designed the internet portions, the different arenas, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, they did design them, which again speaks to the nature of our reality, because this world, as we know it, our reality, is in fact designed. There is an intelligent design at work, and you can call it whatever you want. I assure you it has nothing to do with religion. Religion is just another schematic, just like the internet. It's a schematic that was designed to prompt you, to control you in a sense. And we're not saying control you like in a conspiracy theory kind of. There are mechanics to our existence, to our psychology, that people can make use of, tricks, and spotters can see the tricks happening, can see through them. That's what the purpose here is, not only to be able to see through the tricks, but to be able to make use of them yourselves. And there are tricks in play with Facebook, there are tricks in play with YouTube, YouTube has the very simplest yet most profoundly effective tricks in play. It's a key to that is in its algorithm, how its algorithm responds. And of course, you'll notice that Soul Mechanics isn't developing as fast as we would like for it to. The reason being because we're not playing into that algorithm. However, I'm going to go ahead and suggest, just maybe, we can beat the algorithm if we're working together. Let's show the YouTube arena firstly, and then the remainder of the internets, that we can in fact prevail without making use of its particular trickeries.
Yeah, I think if more people were aware of that engagement, negative engagement algorithm type environment, I think you'd be able to kind of circumvent it with a certain amount of awareness.
Absolutely.
I think it just kind of goes over people's heads. They don't really realize it.
It goes right through, it reads like right
Which
through
it's
them
supposed
like
to. It's designed to. I'm not talking shit about anybody.
Precisely. It's
you
very
know,
no,
you're too stupid. No, that's not what I mean at all. I mean like it's designed to be very sneaky behind the scenes.
It's very, very, very well designed. Like it's a magnificent work of art the way that these things have been designed.
Do you think it was intended to be that from the very beginning?
Well, maybe not intended. For the most part, yeah. I mean, it's everything's going to be intended if we get to like the synchronicity aspect.
My point is, I think it was intended to reward engagement, but is it us, the people aspect of it, that made the engagement part negative instead of positive?
That's something to look into.
It's a social media app. Of course, you want it to reward engagement, but psychologically, we need their engagement to be negative, maybe, and so it's part us.
At this point, it kind of appears to me as though it's almost like a social experiment to see what our reaction would be, how we would react, and in what way we would make use of this.
Because I don't know, man. I don't think you really need experiments. People are predictable.
Right, people are very predictable, and that's...
You could ask any psychologist or like anyone that studies social psychiatric information, that kind of stuff. What hey, what's a group of humans gonna do if you put A, B, and C, and they'll give you a or you don't really need to go through the whole thing of
just that's gonna be the gist of being a spotter. We can I can tell you that we can probably predict most things, but what we want to do here with Soul Mechanics is be entirely unpredictable. The prediction as it stands, predictability the variables in play would discern that we would have to play into this algorithm, that the algorithm essentially would control our progress, and that's totally predictable.
I think you've kind of already busted that with the Facebook group, though. There's a lot of positivity,
which is another irony
in that particular group.
Facebook is holy shit. What he's showing us, Facebook is incredibly critical and mean and just cruel and shitty and stupid for the most part. However, we have had such an enormous success with Facebook and spreading positivity and bringing people together. The network is unfucking realistically enormous, and everybody in it has got everybody else's back to the fullest. It's a beautiful thing. Now let's do that with YouTube.
Yeah. I think it'll just take some time. I figured that those two things would overlap. I guess it maybe just takes a little bit more time.
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring them together. We are going to unify existence. That's a promise. Of course, that is. I can promise that because it's actually already happening. Awareness is gonna be the key to this. Realization. That's what we're getting to. Lucidity. In the sense that
actualization.
Actualization. Realization is a term I've used, but lucidity ultimately is coming down to it. We are in a dream state right now. We want to get you to the point where you are aware of that, lucid. You can say it all you want, you can hypothesize, you can read all the books, and then get into all the doctrines and the ancient traditions and whatnot, but until you actually experience that as happening, it's just a theory. But you can get to that point. You can get to the point where you actually experience this dream and thereby realize it as being such and unify your own experience. Now, for people who are in that, I can name a few. If I wanted to, I could go ahead and name a few people we work with aside from myself who actually experienced that. Aside from myself, Sweetie Cheeks, of course, who have experienced that. But what we need to do is get everyone experiencing that, and then we can achieve this onlyness that we've been speaking to.
It's funny too. I can't help but think the way that you're describing it. That happens, that happens to people all the time through different situations, and the whole, I guess it wouldn't be irony, but the funniest part about it is that you fall out of it, and then fall back in, and then fall out of it and fall back in. So it's just hilarious that you're talking about being a very important part of people's lives and helpful and beneficial for people, and then it's just a matter of time before you pop back out of it and in it again and out of it. It just keeps going on forever, and it just kind of cracks me up. I think it's funny.
What would actually be an irony in that regard is that when you do get to these, what I consider to be higher levels in a manner of speaking, and you are experiencing that, you tend to, like what you're hoping to do is be able to flip into one mode and stay there longer, remain in this state. However, when you get to these levels, like where I'm playing at, it seems to happen faster. Like back and forth, back and forth.
It would accelerate as time goes on, as you get older.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be probably every time I go to work, I'm gonna flip out of it into the very critical dream state where
that's a big part of it, just like work, like daily minutia of people's lives. I think
that's something that I
has a big effect on the way that you're going, your level of lucidity, as you would put it.
And something that I stated, I was speaking to a friend, Yaya, which, by the way, anybody who's watching this far into the video, my friend, my work buddy there, Yaya, she's in the hospital. She is pregnant. Her child is at risk.
Oh no.
We need prayers for her. I've already put it up on the network, and chances are they've already succeeded in healing her.
How far along is she?
I don't know, a few months, couple months maybe. But
Man, that sucks.
like I said, I put the prompt up on the network to pray for this, so chances are she might already be out of the hospital. But again, this is retroactive, so go ahead and send prayers Yaya's way. Let's already have healed her in the past. But I was speaking to her when I first met her about what we talk about on the channel, and I was talking about stretching time out, how you can apply a pressure or a stress variable to your experience, and it will stretch time out, because time flies when you're having fun. It also works the other way around. So you can even apply stress to the fun that you're having. You can enjoy it whilst applying pressure to it, and it will stretch out the enjoyment and stretch out the time. But then when you get comfortable and you relieve that pressure, which I tend to, ironically, again, viewing things backwards, I tend to get more comfortable at work because I love to be there. I love to be doing that. It's something that I enjoy. It relieves the pressure of my life, because one of the primary pressures that I get is a lot of the work that I do is volunteer, and I'm not paid for it. It's working with the initiative, working with the network, providing services to others free of charge. And people in my personal life will heavily criticize me for that and say, well, you're not making any money, you're not taking care of the financial issues, and that really hurts me. That really puts me down.
That's not a criticism. At least I think I know some of what you're referring to, and personally, I it's not a criticism. It comes from more of a place of concern.
Yeah, well, concern for finances.
No. Concern for your well-being, and it's just a natural progression of thought.
Actually,
how does that get
improved?
Exactly. How does your everyday life gets improved by? And I do feel like a shill for saying it, but of having having a stable amount of income to support you and makes you more able to do the things that you want to do.
And I don't think people really realize that this factor, at least for me personally, is that it's not necessarily the money, having the security of finance, but it's just that it's being able to relieve that weight, because I'm at the job, I'm working, I'm making money, I know that I'm taking care of that, and thereby I'm relieving the pressure that people are putting on me to get that done. And when I do that, when I am relaxed, time will snap back like a rubber band, and it'll get to the point where anytime that I'm alone, see, because I haven't figured out how to stretch the time out for other people yet. I have accomplished it, but only accidentally. People have made note of that to me before, that has happened, but I didn't make it happen. But when I'm alone at work, I'll go out to smoke a cigarette, say, I'll rush out, I'll take a few hits, like I want to get back fast, I don't want to be gone, but when I get back, they'll be like, you've been gone for 20 minutes, like that's not possible, but it happens. Because my time will snap back suddenly, and then it'll start moving at a rapid pace when I'm not around other people. So that's a tricky one. We're going to have to get that fixed. I'll take care of that myself. That's a
easy fix. Get a watch.
That's a factor that can be put in play, absolutely. Although it might not work. It should work. If you place that value in place, something that's keeping track of your time, an object, that very well would be exceptionally effective. It's going to be the value of it.
Again, the value of it is not the time itself, but like I said, from my personal view, comes from a value of protecting your investment in that, in that job or whatever it might be, to protect yourself, to keep your position safe, and that, not the time itself, the value of it is protecting it, so you have a long-term kind of ability to keep it going, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So, I think we've succeeded at introducing the concept here. We have instructions in play for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and again give you a solemn promise that if you fucking engage with this, if you put an investment into this investigation and this project, this experiment, it will pay out big time, and I do mean immediately. I'm going to make an example of that by stating here the last comment we will read from this video. This was hilarious and really well done. Subscribed by MB88, who will be our next subscriber. So, thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching this video. If you just got to the timestamp I'm going to have placed for you, that's fine too, but either way, let's work together, make this happen. So,
why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
Oh yeah, and by the way, remember that not only will there be personal rewards in your own experience in your immediate life by doing this, but when you get us to 200 fucking subscribers, we are going to make you the awesomest video you've ever seen. I've made a lot of promises in this. Don't let me break them.
Just don't show your butt.
I wanted to show my butt though. My ass looks great in these fucking pants, I'm telling you.
Don't show your butt. That's not the reward. Just so you know.
Because that is a reward though for everybody. Anyways, that's gonna be it for now, because I don't know, we made good time here. It's not even 1 o'clock yet, and we usually don't even get started till like 2 a.m. or 3 or 4 or 5 sometimes. Shit.
That only happened once.
Which I was kind of hoping that we do this time, because I have something I need to be doing at 6 in the morning. I was hoping I'd kind of get back by then. It is so cold outside, I've got to tell you, it is so cold.
Yeah, it's really bad.
So cold.
Oh, whatever day, like 2 days ago, it was actually kind of nice out. I think it was Friday.
Mm-hmm.
It went up to like 50-ish, or just below 50. And it was a little gloomy or whatever, but it was way warmer than it had been. So this is just kind of a personal anecdote. I'm sure it's very fascinating. I turned my heat way down because, gas bill and all. So I turned it way down. The next day, like Saturday, woke up freezing my dick off and like was like, what the hell is going on? I got space heater going in the living room, it wasn't working, and I walked over and looked at the thermostat, it was like cranked all the way down. I'm like, oh my god, I slept like that all night. It was very chilly.
Thank you so much for using the term anecdote. I needed that in play. I love that word, but I've never successfully made use of it. So there we go. Sweetie Cheeks has done the impossible on behalf of Soul Mechanics.
You're welcome.
So also thank you, MB88. You have a profile pic here that appears to be exceptionally beautiful young lady. So madam, welcome aboard. Scott Cramer, I'm expecting you to assist here. Let's get this going, guys. Thank you all for attending. Thank you all for committing and investing. We appreciate you in so many ways, much more than I think you might even realize. But we're going to get you there. So, any closing sentiments?
Have fun, folks.
Have fun with it. This is going to be a fun one. Kilo Salai, Terve Uni Ciari, Namaste, mi familia.